Hello everyone. It's time for our 18-month review on the Lone Peak, now V1 camper. Now the V2 has been released. Found this pretty epic spot with a pretty decent view of Mount Rainier. It's not the spot that I was hoping for. I hauled up here to where I thought I was going, and I showed up to the spot that should have been a better view than this one, and you couldn't see Rainier from there at all. The trees had grown up over the last few years and completely blocked out the mountain. It's amazing looking at the mountain on how empty it is right now. There's like barely any snow on Rainier. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into this video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. If you're new here, my name's Tyler. This is my 2019 Chevy Colorado ZR2 with a 2.8 Duramax diesel. And I was one of the first people to get the Lone Peak camper. My original order number, I think, was 162, but I think I got like the 30th or 40th camper. I could never confirm that. I picked it up in March of 2024. Yeah, I picked it up March 2024. I've had this camper 18 months. I've had my truck since brand new in 2019. This is my fourth setup, I guess, technically on it. When I bought it in 2019, first setup I had was a home-built rack that I had over my sliding tonneau cover with an ARB soft-sided tent. Then I got rid of my tonneau cover and I got an Alucab canopy, and I still had the ARB soft tent. And then I sold that soft tent. I picked up an Ironman wedge when they first came out with their first wedge tent. I swapped over to a wedge tent. And then at the very end of 2023 is when Lone Peak was first announced. I was one of the first people to put a deposit down on it when they first got released. There's many reasons why I chose to go with the Lone Peak. A big part of that was price, obviously. Also, they're somewhat local to me. They're based out of Wenatchee, Washington, which is about 2.5 to 3 hours from my house. So if I had any issues, it wouldn't be too big of a deal to drive over to Wenatchee and get it sorted out, which I have had a few issues. And then I just wanted to get into the camper game for quite a while, and I just didn't want to spend $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a camper, especially with never being in a camper before. I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it, and as of now, after 18 months, I'm between 140 and 160 nights in the camper since I picked it up. I will never go back to a rooftop tent again. I will continue having a camper. Whether I stick with Lone Peak in the future is to be determined. I have no reason to switch campers, but I will be going to a full-size truck here in the next probably 12 months. It is definitely a tight fit for 4 people, A, in the camper, and B, in a mid-size cab, especially with me being 6'4" and having 2 kids in car seats. So a full-size truck is definitely in my near future. One thing I want to go over before I start kind of going over all the campers is if you follow me on Instagram or anything, you'll know that I am a Lone Peak ambassador now. I originally didn't want to be part of the ambassador club, mostly because I sell products for these campers and I didn't want to be associated with them directly, just so people didn't think I was, in it for the wrong reasons. But after a year and a half and sending a ton of people to get campers, I've decided that it doesn't make sense not to have my own discount code for you guys, and not to be a part of that. I will have my code above on the screen. I'll also have a link down in the description. They've kind of changed the way they do their ambassador program with the discount codes. So it'll be set up a little differently, but I'll also have it posted on my Instagram, and then I'm going to have it on my Etsy as well. And if you guys don't know, that's basically what I do for a living now, is I design, develop, and produce parts for this camper for customers, owners like you guys. And one part of something that I'm going to be offering with the ambassador program is when you use my code, I believe if it's wrong, I will change it here, but if you use my code, you get $250 off your camper. But on top of that, if you use my code, I'm going to be offering anybody that uses my code Once you pick up the camper, not just confirm the order, but in a few months when you pick up your camper, because nothing goes through until you physically pick up your camper from them. Once it goes through, you guys can shoot me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook or Etsy, just with proof that you used my code, and I will be giving whoever uses my code $100 towards my Etsy store, whether that be $100 off a bigger order, or if you've got something around $100 you want, a set of gutters and a few miscellaneous items, we'll get that worked out. So you'll basically be getting $350 off. And it just sweetens the deal for you guys. So instead of $250 off with any other ambassador coupon, you'll basically be getting $350, $250 from Lone Peak, and then $100 from me. And that will hopefully help you guys get your camper set up a little bit better for being on the trail all the time. I'm going to start with outside things, and then we'll move inside the camper. I'll go over modifications I've done on outside and on the inside. Some of the products that I offer that I use on my personal camper. I don't have everything that I offer on my camper. Some things I just haven't had a need for, or I've changed things around, or I change them for the season. I did do a video a while back. It has to have been over 6 months ago of me going over all the products that I offer. I will be updating that video here in the next month or so with any of the new products, and then the same with all the old products that I offer and I still offer. There is a few products that I will not be offering anymore because the V2 camper has fixed the issues that I made products to fix. They'll stay on my Etsy store, but they will be made to order instead of keeping in stock. So instead of getting your order shipped out same day, next day, it may be 3 or 4 days before that order comes out, because I know there's a ton of V1 camper owners. People might pick up a used camper and they may want some of those products. So I'm not going to completely get rid of them, but I just will no longer keep them in stock on the shelf and ready to ship out same day. So yeah, like I said, I've had the camper for 18 months, a little over 18 months. I've got 140 to 160 nights in the camper. I believe that may be, aside from a few people that are permanently living out of their camper, maybe one of the higher used campers around. I abuse the truck and I abuse the camper. I'm not one that takes it easy on anything. We drive down trails all day long when we're camping, at least 1 to 2 weekends a month, long weekends, usually a Thursday to Sunday, Wednesday to Sunday. The camper's set up by myself. I can stay off grid for 2 to 3 weeks with no issues at all. I carry plenty of water with me. I have high-speed internet on the roof. I've got a Starlink Mini that I make mounts for that are mounted on my roof. I keep, like I said, a ton of water. I only have 100 amp hours of battery, but I never stay in one spot at the same time. I've got a 40 amp DC to DC charger, and I believe 200 watts of solar on the roof. I'm having a slight issue with that, so I'm actually going to be changing my power system here pretty soon. I'm going to upgrade to probably 200 to 300 amp hours, and then probably order all-in-one DC to DC and MPPT controller charger. What I have right now is all Renogy products, and it takes up a ton of space. And I'd like to consolidate that. My DC to DC charger keeps blowing fuses. I just redid my power systems, the way it's set up in the camper earlier this week to make more room in the camper for more storage areas. And my MPPT controller has taken a dump. I found a blown fuse soldered to the board inside. I unsoldered it, soldered in a new one, but it's still not. It's reading I have power coming in, but it's not making it from the controller to my batteries, so it's not keeping my batteries charged. So I'll probably get rid of Renogy completely. I've not been happy with them. That's for a different time. I run Victron stuff in my travel trailer, and I may switch over to Victron, but I may go to Red Arc just because they're top of the game. They are extremely pricey, but everybody I've talked to loves the Red Arc stuff, so I may go over to the Red Arc. But yeah, let's go over issues, modifications, fixes I've done, fixes Lone Peak's done, and if I'm still happy with everything. Like I said, we're going to start on the outside, and then we're going to move inside, and we'll go over all that. All right, so we're going to start on the driver's side. We'll work to the front, to the other side, and then we'll go inside. So on the back, I have a CBI dual swing bumper I picked up used on Craigslist a couple years ago for a quarter the price I knew. It wasn't even used. On this side, we'll kind of start up here. So I make mounts for Baja Design lights, as well as Harbor Freight and Ironman lights. Those are on my Etsy. I run Baja Design lights, 2 on each side. Instead of the lights that Lone Peak offers. I didn't like the way that the lights looked on the side of the camper. So that's what I run, 2 on each side. This is my awning strap mount to hook the strap on so I can tighten my awning up here. And then a handle that I also make and sell One plus to these is they are printed from PETG. They don't get hot in the sun like the metal ones do. I do have a bunch of the Lone Peak mount handles. I've got one here, one on the back in place of their handle that they have on the factory, and then one on the other side. This has probably been one of my best-selling products. These are latch covers. V1 latches were not waterproof. The lock cylinders were not waterproof. There's actually holes in the handle, if you guys can see, that water can get into. I live in the PNW, so water intrusion was the enemy of me. It also keeps the handles, we hit a lot of trails all year round. The handles were getting coated with mud, which makes it a pain to open, get your hands all nasty, so this also keeps the handles clean when you're off-road. I just rock an Ironman, one of their very first shower cubes. It's starting to fall apart, so I'm actually going to be probably changing that this winter. Probably one that has a roof panel on it, but it's been great for the $75 or whatever it cost when I bought it originally. These are my gutters. This is actually V2. I just redesigned these to work on the V2 campers as well. So this is slightly different on the V2 campers, but it's a universal fit now for V1 and V2 campers. I've changed them, like I mentioned in my last video, so it's wider. It's also tapered on the inside, so water runs out of them a lot better. Those are also on my Etsy. I run an extreme LED light bar that I've had for a couple years. That's dual color, and you can control the white and the amber separately. I've got Bouge RV semi-rigid panels on the roof. Ran into a Lone Peak solar gland, Lone Peak crossbars, and then I have a Harbor Freight gun case that I use for all my recovery gear. So I've got all my straps and everything in there. I'm actually in the process of looking for a semi-small roof box carrier so I can get rid of the Harbor Freight case, but also have more room in there so when I take the wife and kids out, we'll have plenty of space to store any extra stuff, because the space gets really tight on the inside, and I've got to basically play Jenga to get everything in there when all four of us are in the truck. At the very top, I've got Starlink Mini set up there. And then on this side, I have a WeBoost antenna, their Overland antenna with the brackets that I make that mount on the side track. I don't use, the WeBoost is on all the time. People that have issues with the WeBoost are people that expect it to do something that it doesn't do. It doesn't pull cell signal out of nowhere. You have to have at least a little bit of cell signal that it can boost. So instead of having like 1 bar of service, you'll have 2 or 3 bars of service. Or if you have half a bar of service or really spotty service, you might be able to pick it up, especially since it's up a little bit higher. And then I mounted it at the very top, so it's at the highest point when I have the camper deployed. If I'm somewhere that the Starlink won't work, if I'm in the trees or whatever, that helps a lot. On this side, again, another gutter. I run an OVS 270 awning. I've had that since OVS basically became a company. That's like 4 or 5 years old. Pretty heavily modified. I've got a lighting system and everything that I added to the bottom of that. If you guys have seen any of my videos, especially in the rain time, that's something you've seen before. This here is my Max Trax mount that I designed and made. I do not offer this. I will not offer this because every camper is too different. So this mounts up on the side, and then this folds down, and it actually covers the window that I installed. Lone Peak now offers the windows on the V2 campers. They did not on the V1 campers, so I installed my own. And then it keeps my Max Trax outside and easily accessible for the wintertime. Another Lone Peak handle. My large hook that I make and sell on my Etsy. 2 more Baja lights. That is a Lone Peak diesel heater port. I do not make that, but I do make a quick attachment for this. That's also on my Etsy. And then I keep my diesel heater up here in the wintertime. That puts it directly next to the port there. I keep a little 5-pound propane tank mounted to my spare tire at all times with a mount that I used to make and sell that I just sell the plans for on my Etsy if you've got a plasma table. Last US bag, which I found out just at the last expo, is not actually a company anymore. They sold the designs to a different company that sells it. It's the same bag, but just a different company. They're still, technically, I think he said the last US bag still makes the bag, but they don't brand it as their own. They didn't want to deal with the customer side of things, so the company took over the selling portion of that. Let's see here. And then on the back window, just another one of my handle flaps. That's my own light mount that I don't sell, but there is a guy on Etsy that sells it for $3 Baja light. This that go on there, 2 red for brake and then two amber for running lights or chase lights. And I think that's about it. One issue I did have, which has been fixed, and now with the V2 is not an issue at all. My rear window did crack about a year ago. Actually, I think it was last September, so I think it was exactly a year ago. I had it replaced in October or November. Basically cracked at the corner here all the way across, which is one thing that I've never liked the way that the handle is here. It flexes the window when you pull on this handle. So I actually run one of my 3D printed handles on the inside, which gives it a steady hold across the T-track here. And I've never had an issue with that again. And then my wolf box mount that I make one for the interior and for the exterior. It still allows the wires to run through the middle, and then the exterior one just mounts on the outside. You just have to drill a hole for your camera, unless you mount it on the top. And yeah, I think that's about it. I rock just a step stool, a cheap Amazon one, a fold-out step stool that folds flat. I may be changing that this year. I've been debating on doing like a fold-out step that comes off my tailgate, or I think Little Giant makes like a 3-step ladder that you can buy that folds up pretty small to get in. It's a little bit easier because right now I still have to crawl over on my knees once I get up there. And then a lot of people ask how you close your tailgate. Thing I found, I just took a ratchet strap I had. This was a roller cam ratchet strap. Cut about a foot off of, bent it in half, singed the ends with a lighter, and then put a hole through it with a hot nail, so it singed the hole, and then just ran one of my tailgate screws right through it with a washer. This has been on here since I got the camper, and I've never had an issue with that, and it stays out of the way. It doesn't, some people put, like a handle across there, but your foot could catch on that, and you could trip off your tailgate or trip into your camper. And then a lot of people have seen my build, which has actually changed since my last video, which we'll go over when we get inside. So yeah, I'll see you guys here inside. We're inside the camper now. We'll go over things that I make, design, sell. We'll go over the issues that I've had on the inside of the camper, and kind of my build out if you haven't seen before. So we'll kind of go over everything. We'll do the same thing. We'll start on the driver's side. So the driver's side here, just a basic window like all campers. The vent up top, which I highly suggest using as many times as you can. I use it even when it's raining. It's a nice thing to keep stuff down. This here is a cup junk holder. This is my version 2 that I sell on my Etsy. This is fit to put like a hydro flask, just kind of a junk tray here, and then this spot here on the front is actually lipped on the inside, and this fits your phone. It's got a cutout so you can put your USB port on your phone and still have it in the cup holder. You can put it over by your charging ports, charge your phone at nighttime. This is one of my small hooks, gearbox from Lone Peak directly with their fold down table. I used to not use this very much, but I actually use it quite a bit now that I've changed the interior out. This is a pretty decent upgrade if you've need a table in the gear vault, and that's just held in with a Velcro strip here. Their new tables, I believe, have like a carbon fiber pad on the inside. This is a Dometic mount that I designed and made. Haven't offered this yet. A ton of people keep asking me for it. I still plan on releasing the plans for that if you've got a plasma table or access to one. I've just got to make changes, and it's been kind of a low priority of mine to make it more universal because I designed it to fit exactly in my setup. I keep a interior-exterior thermometer in the truck at all times. It's got a magnet on the back. The exterior reader I just throw on my tailgate when we show up to camp. I don't leave it permanently outside because I don't think it's waterproof. But yeah, I keep that in one of my drawers, and then I just toss it outside when we get to camp. I keep my geyser here. One of my best upgrades was getting a geyser system. It's extremely nice to stay clean, especially for as long as we stay on the trail sometimes. This is my front setup. I actually just changed this. I added this power panel here. It used to be all the way down on the floor. I've got 2 USB ports that are switched power on with 3 ports, 2 standard and 2 Cs. 2 12-volt sockets, if you've got anything that got to plug into cigarette lighters. 2 SAE ports, and then 2 5.5 millimeter. They're all individually fused. Those run directly to my fuse panel down here and into the battery. They're not connected to the juice box at all. My Dometic mount I made so I can use it inside or outside. My Dometic faucet is actually in a magnetic mount. And I keep that in there, and so I can put it up here on here if I need to use it for my sink, or I throw it out or I keep it there, reach in and pull it out if I need to wash my hands or do anything outside. This is my cook setup. Very rarely do I cook inside, but I do boil water and I make breakfast in here sometimes. So I've got just a stainless dog bowl that I bought on Amazon that's just recessed in here. I do whatever I need to do, and then I just zip the window open and throw the water outside. I use biodegradable soap and everything all the time. This is my cook surface that's actually hinged to go up, and I keep my butane stove here. This stays here permanently. If I'm cooking outside, I use a propane stove, and then I still have a usable countertop space when I need it, where I can pull it down. Just recently moved my inverter power up to here, and my inverter switch is here, so I just flip it on when I need it, and that'll light up in a second once it gets power all the way to it. So yeah, I've got a couple USB ports here if I need them. I've got 110 power if I need it. And then that's just kind of in a mount that I made, designed and printed, that stays on the bottom of that can go up and down with the countertop whenever I need it. This is a Lone Peak Mole panel. I only use it for a place to stick magnetic things. I've got a USB port here that's ran directly to my battery fuse box. Just a glove holder. I hate getting my hands dirty, so if I'm handling raw meat or whatever, I keep a set of 2XL gloves in here for myself. I always carry an extra jackery or two with me. You never know when you need extra battery power. Just a quick release fire extinguisher here. You just pull this pin and the fire extinguisher comes right off. And then underneath that is a damp rid. I actually design, made, and sell those mounts for the damp rid. And I always keep that full, so I check it about once a month. I switch out the stuff on the inside of the damp rid when I need it. When it gets all depleted and full of water, it just slides right out. I pull the extinguisher out and that slides out. Coming over, this is the USB port that Lone Peak puts in the campers when you get the power package. It used to be mounted here, but I actually moved my bed back 6 inches. The bed platform is actually movable. I'm 6'4". My size of my feet are 15s. The front of the camper is basically unusable with my feet up there, and so I moved the camper back so I could sleep straight instead of at diagonal. So I've got room for my wife and I up there. Up here I keep my boards. So these boards I made, I have these little, if you guys see these little things here, all the way down the side. That's actually a platform that fits down the center. And I've got 2 kids that sleep down here when me and my wife and my kids are out. And I've got a cushion that goes here that matches perfectly with this cushion. And it basically makes a whole downstairs a bed for the boys. Center kitchen area. I made these pull-out drawers. So the top 2 are kitchen stuff. Basically silverware, oils, spices I keep in this one. This one is all of my camping pans. I've got a 2 set of pots, some silicone pots that I keep here, and this is my disco burner. I've got an iCamper disco, basically an expensive scuttle that I cook with outside. This bottom one here is all my toilet stuff, so toilet paper, bags, wipes, hand sanitizer wipes, air freshener, and then I also keep these pest control pouches in here. I had issues with mice. I left a couple things of top ramen in one of the drawers just to have in case I forgot food when I left the house, and they got into that. So now every couple months I replace those pouches. They're cheap. I buy them on Amazon. Just throw one in the front corner and one in the back corner, and I haven't had mice issues since then. This is a junk drawer. This one I keep a thermosil in a mount that I made that keeps all the stuff organized, refills and everything. A couple extra lights. You never know when you need some silicone. Tent repair patches. I've had to use those a couple times with the tent here. Extra sponge for my geyser, and then some extra power cords and mounts for my Starlink Mini when I need to take it off the roof and move it out of the trees. There used to be a big drawer here, and then my power stuff was down below. I actually redesigned everything, and now I have more storage under here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I might do shelves in here. I'm not 100% positive, but you can see I've got my DC to DC charger here, and then all the rest of my power stuff is on this side. And then I put soft close hinges that I had sitting around at the house, but I'm going to put some magnetic stops there so they don't swing out when I'm driving down the road. Under here is more storage. I keep my Ironman collapsible toilet in here. I keep a Coleman I keep a Coleman oven that goes on top of a burner. I cook at least one morning every trip. I always cook cinnamon rolls for everybody that's camping with us, and that thing's awesome. It fits perfectly on top of here. Spare chair, a few other things. I kind of just throw stuff around. Right this second, I have to go through and get everything organized. That's my compressor, dual piston compressor. It's wired directly to my battery, but the switch is wired up to my juice box, one of the buttons there, and then the air comes up and it's mounted right here. So I can hook up my my inflator directly to that. My fuse panels right here, so I have easy access to all my fuses, and they're all labeled what they are. My battery, and my inverter, my MPPT controller is all back behind that. And if I need to access that, I just lift this panel up, and I have full access to the whole battery area up there. And then I've got my drawers here with my 3D printed just latches. These are soft close latches. Just keep miscellaneous stuff in here, some propane hoses, my disc for my disco, some paper towels, and some foil here. Those are on soft close drawer slides. And then down here, I keep my disco table that goes on the legs, collapsible fishing pole that I keep in all the time, my Claymore fan, which has been awesome. It's rechargeable. Just some camping or some fishing stuff, and then rechargeable solar panel powered bug zapper that I use all the time, and then my collapsible fire pits down there. If you've seen any of my videos, you've seen me use my fully pack away fire pit that I designed. That's actually the very first thing I designed and made for quite a long time. All right, back up to here. So my power from Lone Peak. This is a controller mount that I design and sell. It only works for these controllers. If you've got one of these controllers, I have that on my Etsy. I leave my diesel heater controller permanently mounted inside, and it's wired directly to the diesel heater port power plug. The reason being, a lot of people run these on like Hertz and stuff, change the fuel pump. These are actually thermostats, so I run mine on temperature. I set a temperature, and it keeps my camper that temperature the entire time that I've got my diesel heater running. This is my diesel heater port, wired directly, so it powers my diesel heater from outside, and I control it from inside. And then this is also a mount that I make that puts 5.5 millimeter plugs on the outside and in the spare port of the diesel heater. This is a window that I installed. I did a whole video on this. This is basically a knockoff Arctic turn window, so you can fully adjust how far you have it opened. You can lock it just slightly opened if you want. It has a built-in screen, bug screen, and then it also has a built-in blackout curtain. This has been awesome, especially for summertime for air circulation. I did carpet my side doors, the bottom half of my bed, and then the whole roof a year and a half ago. I've had no issues. One carpet panel kind of came loose, but I fixed that. I haven't had any issues, and it helps with a little bit of temperature control. Like I said, I've got giant feet, so it's actually, I could definitely feel a difference with my feet in the wedge, not getting cold from basically just the coldness of the panels coming through. And then I keep printed this mount out for my shunt monitor for my Renogy shunt, which I'll be switching out to a Victron sometime soon. That's on a magnet, so I can kind of put it wherever I want, whenever I want. It used to be hard mounted, but I didn't plan for a space anywhere for it, so I figured it'd be easier there, because then I could put it on the back so I can look out when I'm driving. These are locks that I make for the Lone Peak handles. I get a lot of people on my Etsy saying that they don't fit, and then I have them send me pictures, and they're installing them wrong. So this is the shape of them. This goes over the lock cylinder, and the little slit here goes over the little piece here. So this just goes like this, pushes over, that locks the door from inside. The only reason the magnets are there has nothing to do with this setup. The magnets are there so you can stick them on whatever you've got that's metal on the inside of your bed, so you don't lose these because they're so small. I keep mine right here. I only carry one with me because this is the only one that I care about. The side door on that side you can't get in the camper from, and there is no handle on this side anymore because I had to cut the handle out to put this window in. then to open the camper, you just push on this red thing here. The new one is easier. You just squeeze these two things, and then you just squeeze these two pieces that are on the sides here on the V2s, and then they have a lock built in on the inside. You can lock and unlock. These are some curtains that I made out of canvas. One of these days when I'm not lazy, I'm going to redo these out of blackout material because the canvas is just a little too stiff, but it works for now, which is nice to be able to cover that back window up. Issues I've had in here are the same issues. I haven't had any recent issues. There's a few places. That's not a hole up here, if you guys can see that, but it's where they stitched it. The light's coming through. That hasn't bugged me. There's been a few places up front here, though. I don't know if you guys will be able to see where I patched them, but I don't know if you guys, yeah, you can. So this is one of those patches. I had a random hole here. I think it was from one of the zip ties that they used to put the wires for the power package to the light up top. The zip ties were really sharp. I went through with a knife and completely trimmed them smooth. Haven't had an issue since. There's two patches on this side. I don't remember where the other one is, but it's held up. That happened right after I got the camper. You can kind of see this one too. Just a few little pinholes in the sewing, but the seam seal tape went over the top of it. This is normal down here. People complain about that. I think that could have been designed a little differently. That's the mount for the strut on the outside. They should have mounted it on the outside of the tent fabric instead of having the tent fabric wrap around it. Somewhere I've got a second patch, but I just guess I'm just completely blind today. That's really the only issue I've had with the tent fabric. This is my setup here. This is a USB port to charge my phone. That's ran directly off the accessory power on the juice box. You can see down there, that's a panel I've had issues with. It's hanging down again. This is a universal phone tablet mount that I make. That's on my Etsy. You can change the width of it. You can put a tablet or a phone up there. I just came out with the V2 for the version 2 campers. I found out that the crossbars on the V2s are a little bit bigger. So I've got a V1 and a V2 now. I've got power ran up. This is where my Starlink is plugged into. That's ran directly to my juice box off 12 volt. This is the small basket that I make. I also make a large basket. I have one, but it's kind of hidden, so I'm not going to go over it. But I just keep USB cables in here. You never know when you need power for something. RAM mount, people ask me all the time. RAM ball mounts. Let's see if I can get this undone here. The RAM ball mounts, they actually fit directly in the T-channels. They might not work with the V2s. But for the B1s, they fit in the things and they tighten. So I keep this here for a tablet mount for my boys when they're sleeping down here, so they can watch a show or something just to get them to bed. I used to keep it up here and put my phone mount on there, but I don't any longer. Another project I've been working on is this little fan here that goes over the diesel heater port. It's USB powered and it's switchable, so you can go low, medium, or high. I've got it right now sucking air out, so that would pull air in from the top and out through the bottom. You could remove the screws, flip that around, and have it sucking air from outside, pushing it out, and pushing hot air out from up top. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this. I'm not sure if I'm going to offer that or not. The fan's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. I tried with a ton of different fans. I think I went through like 15, 20 different fans. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's not very quiet, but it is the quietest fan that I've tried. I tried going even bigger than that. Problem is with the restriction, it makes the fan super loud, and it doesn't move much air. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that, and maybe I'll work on that a little bit more. But I figured I'd kind of show that off. It's literally just a mount that the fan screws into, and it just kind of press fits over the diesel heater port. You could run it inside and out or outside if you wanted to keep the fan this way. The biggest reason I've got the air blowing out is because anytime I tried screen material, anything that puts too much resistance on the fan, it makes the fan really loud, and it doesn't move much air with anything. So I figured if I did it out, pushing the air out, it's just going to suck the air through the screened areas, and it would help keep the bugs out. This is the driver's side. So like I said, my Dometic mount, I keep my Dometic water basically full all the time. I always keep some Castile soap, Dr. Bonner's biodegradable soap, always there, so I can get out, wash my hands from outside. Gear vault. This is a gear vault table that I make them in limited runs. I do know that Kyle is offering them now with the V2 release. Kyle actually asked me if he could steal my design a year ago. I told him to go for it. This is one of the only products I don't physically make myself. I actually have these cut, bent, and powder coated, and then I sell them for basically what I get them for. But I sell them as a kit, so it doesn't come with a tabletop. One plus to mine is it is a little bit larger than Kyle's, and mine you can have a wood top. Kyle's is metal, so if it's out in the sun. But I can't compete with his prices because he orders them in bulk from overseas, and I get them made here in the U.S. And I only order 10 or 20 at a time. So I may offer one more run of these and see how it goes now that the tables are released from them to see if I can get them sold. If not, I'm just going to stop making them. And then my gear vault is set up. So I keep basically recovery in one. This is all my tire stuff. I keep plugs, glue tread, deflators, extra valve stems, everything in here. Keep rope and straps in here. And I keep tent stakes and stuff, tent stakes and zip ties and everything in this one. And they always stay the same. Down here is kind of just a catch-all. These are some front runner stretch wraps I use all the time. Just some bungee cords, a set of gloves. And then up here you guys can kind of see my large basket, but in here I can't reach it very well, but I keep a couple of hand saws in here at all times, and in wintertime I carry my chainsaw with me. So that's the gist of the camper. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions. I'll try to answer them as best I can. But at the end of the day, even with the price increase of the V2, I think that it's way worth the price. It still beats every camper on the market. And I'm not just saying that. I've been extremely pleased. I've had this thing down to -5 degrees in pouring rain, 110-degree temperatures, and I've been happy with it 100%. I know I said I was going to go over all the accessories, but I think I've gone over all of those in the past. I'm not too worried about going over them again. You guys can go watch my prior videos, my 1-year review, my 6-month review. And I go over a lot of the accessories they offer, what I think is worth it and what's not worth it. But I figured this video, I'll just go over how I have my camper set up and if I'm happy with it or not. So yeah, there she is. I've already released the back tension. But yeah, let me know if you guys got any questions. And remember to get out there and explore, and I'll see you guys on the next one.